So yeah, hopefully I'll be able to get some companies together. So yeah, I'm just I want to base it off of kind of like Zelda-esque sort of stuff. Games, not just like the pictures or anything like that, but the actual cars, so people can like cosplay in it if they want to. They can just wear it outside if they want to. I don't want to just do it through like a thing. I want to actually have a company make them, and I want to not just have the company make them, but I want to be able to create my own different versions of them as well. Because that's where you make the real money. That's where you make the real money. You make the one that everybody wants, the supreme things that everybody, like the supreme garbs of stuff that has the actual stuff on it. It's like I really think that there are a lot of different times where in my life I've wanted to wear something from a video game. I wanted to do stuff in a video game. So I'm gonna do my tax thing for older people. I wanted to be able to make that work and actually get people who have certain things that are available to get into, to be able to like. I'm not gonna hugely put in what I say I do. Like I'm gonna probably do maybe like a one-off sort of like what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. But I'm not gonna put everything in detail. I'm not gonna do everything completely by the book, because it's not needed really. It's just for liability basically most of the time. And what I'm doing right now is basically kind of like a charity service. I'm trying to find out that there's older people that have good stuff, and it's not exactly a charity service. I am getting commission, so I am for profit, but that's the reason why I don't really need to do a whole bunch of different work about that, because I'm going to be doing tons of stuff really. I'm going to be going through the paperwork, I'm going to be going through tons and tons of things and stuff like that, and I don't want to hold the old people liable. If they don't want to pay me for a certain service, they don't have to, you know. Like I want them to be able to get on par with their stocks, and me make a certain commission, and that's the money that I make. You know. Anything else, I'm up for. I want to be able to make a company that can actually like work with people. I can live in with them. I can help them with their physical therapy. I can tell them to do certain things. You know, like I can get them off of whatever they think it is that they're on. I can help them with their health. You know, it's just something that I think will be a really good source of income. And all I'm making basically is the last person I worked for. I have brokerage fees. I was between two different people that had a certain thing. They weren't doing it lawfully. The reasons why, technically not the reason why I was working with them. And I got a few different kinds of like $1,000 bonus. I got a bunch of different other bonuses off the things that they were doing. But they had more money than most people do. So I'm going to be making like pittance, basically, comparatively speaking. Working with people, trying to tell them how to do their paperwork, trying to tell them how to set up things on email, try to set up things on ACH and like automatic pay and stuff. So basically that's all I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be helping the elderly get their stocks up to par without charging them like menial fees for doing different things, just because I think that I'm going to make something off of a dime. And that's the point. It's like when you're in reality, when you're making money, that's the point. It's you're making money. You're making the commission. I'll be able to either not live in with them, or I'll be able to have my own place, my own residing abode, and I'll be able to work with them. I'll be able to help with them, and kind of that's what I want to do. That's what I want to help with the elderly, and I want to stop them from making the mistake of getting that call and saying like, oh, your insurance is blah blah blah, but I paid them, did blah 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 blah. It's that fucking scam call. I just want to be there when the scam artist calls, tell them to hang the fuck up. You know, that's what I want to do. I want them to be able to just not throw their money away in any form. I want them to be able to do different things, and it's confusing, but the best way to say it is, this is what I shared with by the last person I worked with. I shared with is you invest in the summer to profit in the winter. That's it. That's all. That's all. People buy computers in the winter. They get their new computers in the winter. Older people get their new computers constantly in the winter when they're not doing anything else. and it's when the most of the sales happen. And you have to understand too is there's downtime as well. After the winter, after you sell your stocks, you make about 15 to about 75% profit. 15 to 75% profit is a real big deal, and that's the part they think is like, oh, it's for younger guys. I don't know what that's. It's like first of all, if you put $100,000 into an actual stock, if you put $100,000 into tech stocks, you'd make 15% of $100. So basically, you're coming out with what? $15,000. That's not a hefty undue profit. And 75 is like when Black Friday sales go off, you are making 75% profit on everything. And if you wait till Christmas on most of them, then you're making at least 75 to 85% profit. So if you put $100,000 in, you're making $85,000. So that's what happens with tech stocks. I believe that the reinvigoration of a bunch of different kinds of things, not saying that you should defund the police or anything like that, but I'm saying that you should defund the patriarchal system in police that allows for people to be able to do untrainable things and still get away with it. You know? That's the point, is I don't think they should lose their pension. I really think they should be going to jail for a certain amount of years or getting fined for it completely. And that's what happens. They go to jail for hurting people, for hurting people who have disabilities, people who are too skinny, that have smaller breathing things, people who are taller sometimes have smaller lungs. That's the whole point, is you have to train these people to know these things. And what I would do is, if I was to fund the police at all, I would get into the point about realizing the difference between certain people's sizes and what they can take. You know, what those sizes can take. You'll see a man who's like really tall and has a huge reach, but if he's not given the right breathing equipment, if he's not given the right calorie intake, if he's not given the right actual things, he can't run as fast as a dude who's literally 5'5". And that's kind of probably what actually increased his actual chances of dying, as far as George Floyd went. So the physicality of everything, knowing people's body types, knowing what types of pressure can cause certain things in certain people who have pressure points. Those pressure points sometimes can come from due stress. And the older generation had those, but a lot of younger generations don't. And when they get older, they'll have them, which is really weird too. So understanding that work in a bunch of different areas creates those pressure points to where you can cut off a certain person's lung, like a larynx itself as an extension of your actual lungs too, as well. So there are a lot of different things that I want to educate people on, and a lot of times that I wanted to educate people on certain things that would actually work. And that these are things that you learn without a degree. Things you just learn. It's like the dude who says he's been in medicine 15 years and didn't know that you could literally liquefy a tablet of Tylenol in like 2 seconds to be able to get rid of a child's toothache or something like that. The point is that the reason. God damn it! I need to go this way. There we go. All right. The point is that realizing that different people have different body types. They can take certain durations of physicality or certain durations of punishment, and they have their own physicality basically, or the physicality is their own. You have to understand that those body types have those things, and you have to be able to understand and study certain body types. As a cop, as a person dealing with certain people whose body types are different than yours, understanding the amount of pressure to put down on a person who's 200 to 300 pounds is lighter than the actual presence to put down on a person who is on adrenaline and 6 foot and 5'10". So understand that person themselves. You have to understand the amount of oxygen that each person gets. So understanding and realizing certain people's regulating breathing patterns, understanding and realizing your situations and your surroundings is a very, very true statement when it comes to actually being a police officer. And realizing what you can do and what you can't do. And realizing what you can do can understand that you should have tased him instead of putting your knee down on him. The point is that's what it would have taken, and if people would have understood that and realized that taller people sometimes have smaller lungs because they didn't have enough time for their actual bone growth was actually taking place over certain organ growth. So no, George Floyd was not secretly a zombie. He was a man. He was not a good man for taking a counterfeit $20 bill to a place, but he also had a family, which meant that's the reason why he resisted arrest. Understanding that you could have tased him, and then that would have been it. But he did not. He decided to put his knee down on him and tase him, and that's the point. Is understanding too the length and the realization of certain veins inside the body is how certain electrical currents can get through to the body. Certain people who are taller have thinner veins. So understanding and saying and realizing that, oh, he tased him. Like, yeah, he tased him, but he isn't as affected by tase because he has thinner things going through his body. You may think that the electrical current goes throughout the entire body, but it doesn't. It goes to and heads on to. It's the reason why certain people get struck by lightning and they have that mark where the lightning hit them on the back of their neck. Because that's where the lightning escaped. And also you'll understand the reasons why certain people who have those certain markings on their body have it all down their body throughout different certain systems that connect. So when you realize that you get tased, you realize that you have to be as educated on being tased. You have to realize that certain systems that all connect to one another, they are the reasons for the actual connection of electricity. So that's the reason why if someone tases you on the bone, like one girl did, and I said I was used to it, it's funny for me to say that. She tased me on the bone. So when you tase someone on the bone, bones are not conductive. They're not conductive at all. She tased me right on the forearm, like right here above the tissue, right there on the forearm, right there on the bone. So the bone isn't connected to any goddamn veins or tissue or anything like that. So when you connect with an actual taser, that person will not feel that. They'll just feel a little bit in their hand. Because of the recurring veins in certain different systems of organs in your body that create a certain pathway to your hand. Other times, sometimes they were not. Understanding that he decided that he was going to dislocate and then relocate his entire brother's arm. He's done that before. That was dumb, because understanding that and realizing that you can hyperextend someone's entire arm, and he probably wasn't a mean person. So that's probably why he did that. But understanding your own physicality is understanding your brother's physicality. So realizing that people who are taller have small. Understanding and realizing that, yes, that is not accidental death. That is untrained and person who applied too much